Yeah, this game I'm going to show how I made a brilliant sacrifice on move 4. And so it starts like this. E4, C5, going for the Sicilian, and now bishop C4. And now with E6, just covering the F7 square and just blocking the diagonal for the bishop. And now we have this move E5, which is an inaccuracy by white. It's you can only really defend it with the knight, or you can play this move, or you can play this move. There's 3 moves to really defend it. And I guess there's 4 here, but that one's not really recommended. But you can see now this pawn's much harder to defend. And now, so I played this move knight c6, just going for this pawn. And now white decides to play the move f4. And f4 is playing f4 in the opening without having a real plan is not good. And here, this is where I made my sacrifice. I took the pawn, the e5 pawn. And why is this brilliant? Well, if white decides to take, then I have this check. And after the move, you can play king f1 here. I'm gonna win the bishop, and this is just a much better position. My queen's active, and I'm gonna probably win this pawn in the future. So that's why they can't take the knight. And instead, what white decide to do this game is just take a pawn for the knight, or they decide to sacrifice their piece as well. And I just took it in the game, which is a mistake. And this is how I turned my brilliant move into a mess up. So now I do queen h4 check, and then white decides to play this king f1, which is a best move. And now I check again, and this is a mistake or an inaccuracy because they can just develop the bishop in the future with tempo here. And then they play this move knight f3, and I decide to play this move g5. And g5, I knew that the move that d4 is coming, but I just wanted to see what they're going to do. So, of course, the move, d4 came, and so I had to move the queen back, and now they took the pawn. And then I played this move b6. The idea of b6 is that I want to check here. And now we have this move queen d3. And this is just opting for a trade, and I took. And the reason why I took is because I just doubled the pawns here, and I think this is still better for white, but there's less of an attack for there's less attacking chances for white in this position. And now I took the pawn in the center, and now the white took the pawn, and now I play this move bishop a6, going for this d3 pawn. And now the king defends the pawn, and then I play this move bishop c5. Bishop c5 just attacking the knight, but of course the knight can just go back here, which is an inaccuracy apparently. But so I go and trade the bishops here, and then now we have to move knight c3. And now I play this move knight g6. The idea of knight g6 is that I'm targeting this pawn, but I'm also threatening to play. So for example, white plays a random move. I can either take this pawn, or I can check after the king goes here. I can even take I can take this pawn, or I can take this pawn. So that's the idea of my knight g6 move. And in the game, what happened is white decided to play the move a4, and I took the pawn in the center, and then now we have to move knight b5. Now king e7, of course, the knight was threatening a fork, so I had to move my king here. I could have also just, apparently according to the engine, I could have just long castled, and that would have been better for black. But I didn't really like the fact that white was going to get the rook into the game, so I just played this move rook e7. And now we have the rook a to c1 here, just getting control of the file. And I don't want white to play this move rook to c7, so I just control the c file as well. And now we have king to e3. And king to e3 is just a mistake. I didn't capitalize it, but what I decided to do in the game is just capture the knight on the b5. And then I played this rook a to d8, and I basically lost the tempo. And I was fine with this because I was thinking like I messed this game up already, and I just wanted to draw. And now we have this move king f4. So king f4 is just a blunder. And take a couple of seconds just to see why it's a blunder. Okay, so the move is just I just took the pawn here with check, and now they made their second blunder, which is moving the king to e4, and then I just forked the rook and the king, and I won the game. And so that's how I basically turned my brilliant move into a blunder and into the blunder middle game, and then I just won at the end because my opponent blundered.